I can still help, even if it's the last thing I do.
People say Hawkins is cursed. They're not way off.
What's up everyone, my name is Max and today we'll be taking a look at almost all of these Stranger Things minifigures. The new Stranger Things season will release later this month and hopefully bring us some more sets in the next year. At this point I'm honestly just craving for more Stranger Things sets / minifigures. Like please just give me a Billy or Steve minifigure. I mean brickheads are great and all, but I really want minifigures to be honest. Also, if you're wondering why I'm just showcasing / reviewing the figures of the Upside Down set and not the set itself, let me tell you, it's a pain in the butt reviewing big sets. Like, the videos get the most views, but they're just so painful to do. Last week I did Giganto's Showdown review, had a blast of a time. Editing was chill, shooting it was easy, all nice and good. Editing that Sanctum Sanctorum review, as well as shooting it, was painful. So I decided to go with minifigures today. Big reviews will return when I have more time and I'm not too busy with school. Anyways, before we jump in now, remember to hit the like button, subscribe, as well as tell me what you think of these figures and what videos you'd like to see in the future down in the comments. And as always, please excuse my poor English, I'm no native speaker. The figure we'll start with today is Stranger Things Season 1's main villain, the Demogorgon. Obviously, a problem this figure has is that it's just the normal height of a minifigure. In the show, the Demogorgon is far taller than a normal person, but for that to actually work, they'd at least need to make a new leg piece. They actually did use another leg piece here than for all the normal minifigures. This one was introduced in 2016 in a CMF and actually works quite well with this figure because the Demogorgon has got quite thin legs in the show. The legs themselves have toe printing and just some detail printed on the upper part, which continues over the printed hip onto the torso. The torso is just a normal minifigure torso, which has these little black parts on the side to pretend that the figure is thinner than it actually is. The print continues on the back as well, and as claws he uses these Wolverine claw pieces in Dark 10. I honestly think they work fine. The normal head shows the Demogorgon with his mouth closed. You can see these overlapping flaps of course. What you can do now is take this helmet piece essentially and put it on the Demogorgon's head, and now it looks like he got his mouth open. I think this is a great piece and I'm happy that they didn't just go and print an open mouth. As you can see, there's his gum and all his teeth printed on there as well. This piece was just recently reused for the orchid as a flower, and honestly it works really well in that regard. Overall, if they did another version of this figure, they may have to find out how to make him lankier, but otherwise quite a good figure, which goes for about $20 on Bricklink. Our next figure is Chief Jim Hopper, of course played by David Harbour. One thing you immediately notice is it's a pretty bland figure, but this is his outfit in season 2, which is quite bland to be honest. He has this classic sheriff hat as well as his police badge printed on his torso. The torso is actually quite detailed with the pockets and wrinkles, and his belt which wraps around to the back as well, where we have some more printing. The hat was made especially for David Harbour and was reused for the Red Guardian, although it didn't fit him as well as Hopper here. Overall, I'd wish for a bit more detail around, maybe just some arm printing with like an American flag or something, but otherwise I think it's a solid figure, going for about $5 on Bricklink. Next up we have Joyce Byers, played by Winona Ryder, and one thing I want to mention immediately, this is one of the best likenesses in combination with the hair ever. The hair's grey, it was introduced 1 year prior with the new Harry Potter sets, and the face was made specifically for the set and was only reused in one other set, but it matches her almost always confused or frightened facial expression perfectly. Her alternative head is okay, nothing outstanding but nothing horrible either. Her torso is still exclusive to this figure, it looks nice, can't really say a lot more about it, but it does continue on the back as well. Now her accessories are a flashlight and this printed tile right here. On this little tile you can see a drawing, and I had to do some digging to find what this was based of, but I was able to find it. It's based off a drawing from Will, who we will get to later, and for the amount of space they had to work with, I think they did a really good job, even getting those classic A4 lines on there. In conclusion, this figure really couldn't be much better. If we'd see another Joyce minifig in the future, I'd like it to be on the same standard as this one, whose current value is around $5 to $6 on Bricklink. Next up is 11, played by Millie Brown. This is of course Elle in her schoolgirl disguise from season 1. She kinda sticks out from all the other characters cause she's the only one who has really bright colors on her. She uses mid legs, which are covered by this skirt piece that wraps around her whole waist. It limits the range her legs can move by quite a bit, but if you're just displaying the figure, it shouldn't bother you really. The torso is okay in my opinion. You have the typical problem of the pink from the torso not matching her skirt because it's printed on the blue base color. Otherwise, I think it works fine, and she's got some back printing as well. I don't really like her face. It was specifically made for this set, and I can't put my finger on it, but something is off. She doesn't have an alternative face either. What I'd like to see would be an alternative face with a bloody nose maybe. I think that would have been cool. I also don't like her wig. Something slightly longer, like the black canary hair or something like that, would have worked better probably. I'd have also liked for them to include an alternative hair piece, like this falcon one right here. I know it's not perfect, but at least something in that vein. Anyways, I think this figure could be better, but it's still a solid figure, going for about $5 to $6 on Bricklink. Our next figure is Mike Wheeler. He's played by Finn Wolford, who actually got his very own face print with this figure. He uses the Quicksilver hair in black. I'm again not the biggest fan of this hairpiece for him, but I don't really know what other hairpiece could have been used. Maybe something like the Queenie Goldstein hair, but I'm honestly not sure. The face is quite good. The likeness isn't spot on, but good enough, and I really like his angry expression. Something they did do on his face, and I don't even know if the camera is picking that up, is that they printed freckles on his cheeks. It's almost unrecognizable, but it's great attention to detail honestly, since the character does have freckles in the show, so kudos to Lego. His accessories are a flashlight as well as a walkie-talkie, nothing special really. His torso looks really good. He wears this shirt and jacket in the show, so it's accurate as well. I like that you're able to see all the wrinkles and buttons and whatnot. He again uses mid legs in dark green. I mentioned before that I love mid legs, and I'm happy that they are a reoccurring thing with these minifigures. Overall, a minifigure that could use a better hairpiece, but otherwise it's fine, and currently goes for about $5 to $6 on Bricklink. And up next we have Dustin Henderson, played by Gate Matarazzo. This is the best Stranger Things minifigure, hands down. He again uses mid legs in dark 10. His accessories are a walkie-talkie as well as this compact card thingy. I hope the camera can pick all of that up. I don't really know what it is, but it's quite accurate to the show, or at least the Hot Toys figure I looked at. The torso is also very accurate, with this printed turquoise shirt under the dark blue jacket, looking good and not too janky. The furry inside of the jacket looks really good as well, and there even is some hardly recognizable black detail on the front as well as on the back. The face matches Dustin's face really well, and his frightened alternative face isn't too bad either. The hair head combo works quite well here, since it's a dual molded piece, so you won't have any too weird looking colors except for the white in the front here. This is probably one of the best looking molds that was specifically made for a single character and is also really accurate. So overall, a great figure which has a value of about $9 on Bricklink. Up next we have Luka Sinclair here, portrayed by Caleb McLaughlin. As a hairpiece they used this very flat one surrounded by a bandana. I think this works really well, since he always wears that bandana and has quite short hair. The face is, well, it was made specifically for this figure, but it doesn't bear any resemblance to Caleb McLaughlin. He doesn't have a second face either, but what can you do? The torso is great, as with all of the other minifigures as well. The blue shirt below the jacket looks good and isn't tainted with any red marks, although being printed on a dark red torso. Again, I love all the detail and accuracy to the show, even with the fur coat at the top and the continuous printing on the back. He uses mid legs again, and his accessories are another flashlight as well as this slingshot. Even the slingshot colors are accurate, with it being yellow and silver in the show and yellow and grey here, because making the piece chrome would have just been stupid. With all that said, if they did this figure again, I want a new face print, but other than that, a pretty good figure which goes for about $5 to $6 on Bricklink currently. And the last figure for today is Will Byers, because I don't have Barb. She's literally $600 on Bricklink, and oh boy, I'm not paying that. Will, of course, is played by Noah Schnapp? I don't know. I think they really nailed his likeness with this scared expression, even getting the little mole on the cheek or whatever the fuck it's called. His alternative face isn't bad either, but can't outshine this scared one. The torso is quite nice, although here you can see what I've talked about earlier, because it's a red torso, some of the colors get messed up. His white shirt, for example, here isn't really white anymore, it's kinda pink now. Otherwise it's nice, with the yellow wrapping around to the back as well, where we have some more printing. This is the one figure that could have needed some arm printing, I think, because he isn't wearing plain blue in the show, but more like a check pattern pullover. He, as all the other minifigures, uses mid-legs, and if they did a new Will now, I'd just wish for one of his new appearances like season 3 and maybe even season 4. And this figure goes for about $5 on Bricklink, just before I forget to mention it. And that wraps it up. Those were all the figures. I hope they do more in the future. If you enjoyed this and want to see more, check out my shorts channel where I post every other day, and until the next video, goodbye!